Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to film a video that I have been pushing away for a while now. I have been wanting to do this, but it is quite a task. So I'm doing my brush declutter, as you know by the title for now. I need to do it in two different parts. So I'm doing today my face brushes and my eye brushes in another video. I don't have like the largest brush collection ever, but for some reason I find that makeup brushes are something that I'm not that excited to talk about them. And part of me just wants to declutter the brushes and not mention anything about it here on my channel. But part of me really wants to show the process of me decluttering the brushes here and letting you know why I'm keeping something, why I'm decluttering something. And yeah, I want to do it on video. I want my vanity to be more clean, more neat. I know I do have quite much stuff here, like I do have my jewelry, I do have some palettes I'm using this month and my Panda palette and things like this. Then I do have here my brushes, but I only want to have here brushes that I really do use. So how I'm going to do my declutter today is that I'm going to go through the brushes by category. So first foundation brushes, then concealer brushes and so on. And I'm going to sort my brushes into three different sections. So first one is brushes that I use, if not on my daily basis, at least on my weekly basis. And those brushes I want to keep here on top of my vanity in these IKEA candle holders. And I do have currently two candle holders for my face brushes. I want to have only one holder to my face brushes. The section number 2 will be brushes that I still want to keep, but I don't use currently. Maybe it is a brush that is just not part of my routine right now. For example, I currently apply my foundation always with a wet beauty sponge. I don't apply foundation with a foundation brush. So of course I don't want to have foundation brush cluttering my little candle holders. However, there has been time when I used brush to apply foundation every day, and in future I may buy a foundation that actually applies better with a brush. So that is why I just don't want to declutter all of my foundation brushes. I want to keep one that is really good. And with brushes I don't mind sitting them back in my drawers because they don't expire like makeup does. But I still don't want to keep more brushes what I actually think I would need later in my life. And then finally, the third section is brushes that I'm going to declutter. One more thing I want to mention is that I have not washed my brushes in quite a while. They are dirty. Another reason why I do want to have as little brushes as possible on top of my vanity is that I want to make brush cleansing a weekly routine. Every week I want to wash all of my face brushes I have used that week. So of course it's so much easier if I have only those brushes I truly use and need. So yeah, let's get into this declutter. So I do have here 4 foundation brushes, and 3 of these are more like buffing type of foundation brushes, and one is this kind of flat foundation brush. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. This is actually the only foundation brush that I use. I use this one to mix my foundation and lightening drops if I need to lighten my foundation. Currently my everyday lightweight foundation that is a tinted moisturizer is a little bit too yellowy for me. So that is why I use this brush to mix in a little bit whitener. But this is actually the only foundation brush that I use, so I'm going to keep this on top of my vanity. And this one is, by the way, the Real Techniques pointed foundation brush. It is from their, I believe it's like starter kit or something like that. But I believe the kit that this came in has changed a little bit since I bought it. I bought the set, I believe, like in 2013 maybe, so it's a really old brush. The bristles are pointing a little bit, it's not like the best quality anymore, but honestly I don't need it to be like super neat and beautiful. I just use it to mix some whitener to my foundation. So it's going here. Okay, then I do have here 3 this kind of foundation buffer brushes. As I told you, I don't apply foundation with a brush anymore. I use a sponge, but I do want to keep one of these brushes. And the one that I'm going to keep is this Real Techniques Expert Face brush. This is just my favorite foundation brush. I love it because it's really dense, and for that I think it doesn't make my face streaky and my foundation streaky. I also like how it's domed, so I think it blends the foundation to my skin more beautifully. I really do love this, and I used to use this brush every single day to apply my foundation. I bought it in 2013. I think it was somewhere in the end of 2017 when I stopped using foundation brushes, but I used this so many years in a row and it's still in perfect condition. The only thing I have to complain about this brush is that I don't like this, what Real Techniques does, that the brush is wider in the bottom. But this brush I'm going to put away to this little makeup bag, and I'm going to store here those brushes that I don't use currently but that I still want to keep in my collection. Okay, then these 2 other foundation brushes I'm going to declutter. The first one is from Real Techniques. This is their buffing brush, and it is from the same set than the pointed foundation brush. This one is not as dense as the Expert Face brush, and because of that I feel this one applies my foundation a little bit more streaky, and I don't like that. So I really don't need this brush into my life. So this one I'm going to declutter completely. Then I do have this brush from BH Cosmetics. I believe it was their Rose Romance brush set that I bought from them. I think the brushes are really nice quality, but I just don't like this kind of foundation brush. I have maybe used it once or twice. I do not like that it's cut like this, so I think it's not as easy to blend my foundation with this one than with something domed. And even though I have used it only a couple of times, I used to have from Sigma their F80 Kabuki brush that is really popular brush. This one is really similar to that. I didn't like that brush, so it's similar model to this, so I don't really need to keep this, so I'm going to declutter this. Okay, then I do have here one concealer brush. So this is the EcoTools Airbrush Concealer Brush, and this one is so good. I use it very often. Most of the times, especially if I'm doing more dramatic looks, I do first my eyebrows, then my eyeshadow, and then I'm doing my foundation. So I can't always go super close to my eyes and my eyebrows with a sponge because I'm afraid that I'm messing the look. So then I can go with this brush like into my corners of my eyes or between my brows or above my brows and blend the foundation there beautifully so that it doesn't mess my look. So I really do enjoy this brush, and I'm for sure going to keep it. Then I do have here 4 powder brushes. This one is actually not meant for powder. This is the e.l.f. blush brush. I use it to set my under eye concealer, and it's a perfect brush to that. I really love the size and shape of it. It's such a nice brush to set my under eye. It's also really soft. I love how fluffy it is. This one I'm going to keep over here. Then the powder brush that I always use to set my face with is this EcoTools large powder brush. I believe this brush has since changed name. I have had it for years and I use it all the time, and it's still in great condition, but I believe it's something like sheer powder brush right now. The thing is that this brush is really large and really fluffy, and it's really soft. So I do prefer this kind of fluffy brushes when I'm applying my powder, because if I do have too dense brush, I feel I can get a little bit too much of powder. So I rather take something like this that is like soft and fluffy, and I build up the powder rather than go in with super dense brush and have this powder cake on my face. But it's just my personal preference, and this is the perfect powder brush for me. I like it both with pressed powders and with loose powders. I do have another powder brush from EcoTools. This is their full powder brush, and this one is more dense. This one is also like a little bit weird shape. It is kind rounded, but then it's like a little bit pointed. I don't understand the shape of this, but also it is a little bit too dense for me and for my preference, so I don't need this brush and I'm going to declutter it. Then the one last powder brush I have is this Real Techniques Retractable Kabuki brush. This one I do keep in my makeup bag if I want to touch up my makeup during the day. I haven't used this brush in a really long time. The reason is because during winter I don't need to touch up my makeup during the day, but I know when we get into summer I will need to apply powder during the day, so I'm for sure going to keep this and keep it in my makeup bag, but I think I need to wash this. So I'm actually going to put this here right now, so I'm going to wash all of those brushes. Okay, then we can get to the more overwhelming part of my face brush collection, which is my cheek brush candle holder. I do have so many cheek brushes. I do not use all of these. I do not need all of this. I do have here two bronzer brushes. Both of these are actually something that are meant for powder, but I personally like them more with bronzer. So my holy grail bronzer brush is this EcoTools Complexion Collection Mattifying Finish brush. This one does look a little bit rough. My dog Hugo got this and thank God I got it away from him. He, I think, bite this like a couple of times. It does have some teeth marking there, but it's not completely in pieces. I'm super happy about that because this one was kind of like a limited edition line and I don't know if I could get this anymore. I think I might be able to get the whole set, but this is the only brush from that set that I like. This is my favorite bronzer brush, and the reason to that is that this is duo fiber. As you can see, I'm quite light when it comes to skin tone, and very often bronzers tend to be just a little bit too deep. But with this one, if I'm just very slightly touch my bronzer with this and then go in, I think the duo fiber bristles do the thing that they pick just a little bit of product, but then the shorter bristles blend the product in beautifully. Today I have bronzed my face with this. This is my favorite and it's for sure going to go here to my face brush holder. Then I do have this BH Cosmetics powder brush from the same Rose Romance set that the foundation brush was from. This one I do not like for powder because I think it's a little bit too small for me. Also, this one is again a little bit too dense for my preference with powder, but I think it's nice bronzer brush. I don't go for this brush over the EcoTools one, but as you saw, the EcoTools brush has seen better days, so I'm afraid it might break completely someday. So that is why I want to keep this brush, so that I do have a nice bronzer brush on hand, but I'm not using it currently, so I'm putting it to this bag. Then I do have here 3 cream contour brushes. Actually, one of these is a foundation brush, but I prefer it with cream contour. But yeah, let me go through this. I only have currently one cream contour palette and I don't really reach for it right now because I'm trying to pan my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and while I'm panning it I don't feel I need to use a cream contour. But I do want to keep a couple of these brushes. I'm just going to put them to this makeup bag. But I'm talking about these brushes from EcoTools. Another this is Wonder Cover Complexion brush, and this is a foundation brush. And then I do have this Wonder Color Finish brush that is like a cream contour brush or contour brush. I don't like this smaller brush nearly as much as the bigger brush. First of all, when I washed this for the first time, there was so much bristles coming off. The only reason why I am keeping this for now is that if I'm going for that contour palette, this one is small enough for me to pick the product and draw the line. But I actually do not like to blend with this one. However, I do like this Wonder Cover Complexion brush to blend the product, but I think this is a little bit too large to pick the product from the palette. So that is why I'm going to keep both of this, but I'm going to put them to the makeup bag right now and then return to them when I actually am reaching for the contour palette. But then I do have this Real Techniques brush. This is their contour brush, I think. It doesn't read here. They do sell this individually, but I got it from a set. But this one is a contour brush. I have seen some people apply foundation with it. I have tried it, I didn't really like it. I don't think it did a bad job, but I don't think it performed as well as the Expert Face Brush. Emily Noel was talking that this is like a perfect cream contour brush, and I have seen some people enjoying this with powder contour too. For me, this is something that I really haven't been using ever that much. It's just, I don't think it's bad brush at all, but it's just that I do have brushes that I prefer. If I'm going for a cream contour, I'm going to use those EcoTools brushes over this one, and if I'm going for a powder contour, I do have brushes that I'm next going to show to you. So this one I'm actually going to declutter. I'm sure someone else will love it. Okay, then let's talk about contour brushes. I do have here 3. And these are something that I specifically like to contour my cheekbone with, or my double chin if I'm going to do it. But I really don't bother doing it that much anymore. Like I do have a little bit of double chin, but it is because my teeth are the way that my lower teeth are more in the back. Like if it was more in the front, I probably wouldn't have that much of double chin, but I didn't do any teeth straightening when I was a kid. I know you can do it when you are an adult too nowadays. Maybe one day, but not right now. But anyways, I don't bother contouring my double chin. Even if I do put contour there, it will just look like dirty and not cute. Like, I'm okay with it now, but it's something I used to hate when I was younger, but now I'm just fine with it. Anyways, I do use these brushes to contour my cheekbone. And to my forehead I use just a larger bronzer brush because I don't think I need there as precise application, and also I need lighter hand there. So I do have these 3. And I think I'm going to keep 2 of these. My favorite is this e.l.f. mineral powder brush. This one is meant for mineral powder as it says, but I think it's like too small for powder, but I think it's such a perfect size for powder contour. I can actually demonstrate it to you. So if I'm going to go in with contour, I'm going to use this The Balm Bahama Mama, and then I'm just dabbing the side, the little bit pointed side of this brush to the contour. I'm going to tap it off, and then I'm going to place the part of the brush where the contour powder is, and then I'm going in, and this blends the product in so beautifully. And because it does have that pointed side in it, or that little bit straighter cut, I think it's kind of like a neat application, and I really do like it. It's also quite fluffy, so I think it's easy to blend the product in with this one. It's just the quality of this brush is maybe not the best. As you can see, I have had to apply some tape here. I have not had any shredding yet when I'm washing this, but if it happens in future, I'm not surprised. But for now, it is my favorite contour brush, and I'm going to keep it in top of my vanity. This brush is the BH Cosmetics contour brush from the Rose Romance brush set, and I do really like this. It is a little bit denser maybe than the e.l.f. brush. The shape is kinda like similar. It's not as flat cut. Like the e.l.f. one is not completely flat cut, but this one is a little bit more rounded maybe. I think this is a nice brush, but I just prefer the e.l.f. one. However, as I said, I'm not surprised if the e.l.f. one breaks apart. So I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to put it to this. Then this one I'm going to declutter. So this is the Real Techniques contour brush. This came in the starter kit or whatever it is that I have shown a couple of brushes earlier. So this one is this rounded contour brush, and it was my favorite before I got those other brushes, but now I just don't like the rounded shape of this. Okay, next are my blush brushes. I do have 3, and surprisingly I'm going to keep all of them here in my face brush container. And the reason to that is that I'm doing currently Panda face palette, so I'm reaching for kind of like different colors of blushes, because I do have 4 blushes in that palette, and I do like different brushes for those blushes. did I say it right? Like brushes for the blushes. So I actually do use all of these blushes in my weekly routine currently, so I do want to keep all of this on top of my vanity, but I'm going to quickly talk about them. I do have two brushes from EcoTools. First one is their Precision Blush Brush. This is what I used today. It is this smallish, rounded and quite dense brush. I think this is best with natural blush shades, like what I'm wearing today, and if I just want to go with the blush over the top of my contour like this. I think this does the perfect job. This I have had for years now. It's my favorite blush brush and it is still in very good condition. I really think EcoTools makes some really nice quality brushes. So this is actually my favorite and I'm going to put it here. Then this another one from EcoTools is their Define brush, I believe. This is a contour brush, but I think it's like way too big for contouring for my taste. However, I do like to use this one when I want to have more sheer blush application. For example, if I do have a colorful blush and I just want to dab my brush there and go in. And also if I want to go more to the apple of my cheek, I think this is a better brush for that because it's kind of like fluffy, so it's not as intense what comes to application. But I must say that I don't very often go to the apple of my cheek. I think because I do have such a rounded face, it's not the cutest look ever, but that is a brush I use for that kind of blush application. I find it so difficult to talk right now when I'm all confused about blushes and brushes, but yeah. There is one more blush brush to talk about. This is actually a contour brush. I really don't like this kind of brush to contour with, but I think this is so good for a brush if I again want to do like this kind of thing where I'm going on top of my contour. And yeah, I want to have a couple of options like this one and the EcoTools ones. This one I use with more colorful blushes if I want to use that method to apply my blush. I do have 4 highlighter brushes and I only use one on my regular basis. So it is this EcoTools highlight brush. It is from the Define and Highlight Duo. It is like a really choppy fan brush and it may look way too big and way too awkward, but I actually do really enjoy it. I think it does such a good job when applying highlighter. I just think it picks up the product so beautifully, and because of the shape it's so easy to apply the product. I'm actually going to show it to you. So I'm wearing today the highlighter from the In Love Glow palette from Weaker Icon, this middle one, and I'm just going to dab the brush here and then it's so easy to go like that. I think it's much easier than go in with like a pointed brush. But maybe I'm just weird, but this is my favorite highlight brush and I always use this. Another highlight brush I may use sometimes is this setting brush from Real Techniques. This one came from the same set than the contour brush and this one is not quite the same model than their original setting brush because that one is more pointed and this one is more rounded. But this one I use if I'm going to layer 2 highlighters. I'm going first in with the deeper highlighter and with the EcoTools fan brush, and then I'm using this to layer lighter shade. My camera battery died, so I just changed the battery, so if the angle of the video changed, that is why. But I was just about to show you how I'm going to use this brush if I'm going for it. I do have another highlighter already on, but I'm going to show it to you still quickly. So there is this set Sparkle in the same palette. It is like a pure glitter mess, not really my favorite, but I'm just dabbing this brush into the highlighter I'm going in if I'm going to layer, and then I'm going on top of the old highlighter. That is the purpose I use this brush for, and I do really enjoy it, and so it's going to that brush holder. I do have also from the same Real Techniques set this fan brush. I don't like this brush, so I'm going to declutter this. This is a fan brush that is duo fiber, and I just don't think this picks up anything. The way I have been using this is to wipe fallout from my face. However, most of the times I do my eyeshadow before my base makeup, and even if I do it other way, like first my base makeup and then my foundation, then I can wipe off the fallout with the e.l.f. blush brush that I use to set my under eye. So I actually don't need this. Then the final brush I do have here is this BH Cosmetics highlighter brush from the Rose Romance brush set. I think it is a good highlighter brush, but the thing is that I don't reach for it. I never reach for this one over the EcoTools fan brush, so I actually don't think I need it, and I don't feel I need to store this for the sake of if one of those other brushes breaks. So I'm going to declutter it. Okay, so those were all of my face brushes. Let me quickly count how much brushes I decided to keep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, so 11 brushes plus 1. Then I decided to put to this makeup bag 5 brushes, and these are something I'm not currently using, but maybe later. And then there are 7 brushes that I'm going to declutter, and I'm actually really happy about these decisions. None of these brushes is something that I reach for like ever. But that was everything for today. I was a little bit worried that I just hate to film this video, but I actually liked it and I liked to talk about those brushes. So I'm going to also film my eye makeup brush declutter. I don't think it's going to be the next video I'm going to do. Let me know down in the comments which is your favorite brush brand, like overall, or your favorite face brush brand. I think my favorite face brush brand is EcoTools. As you saw, I do have pretty many brushes from them. I think the majority of brushes I decided to keep here are from EcoTools. I really love the brand. So yeah, that was everything for today. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye bye.